So hello, we're going to do a beginner's mat class. So we're going to start just in standing. So feet just shoulder width apart. Let's think about our pelvis to start off with. So find that neutral position. So do your pelvic tilt. So tuck your tail under, stick your bottom out. So find that neutral position. So halfway between kind of tucked under and sticking your bottom out. Feel the two bones at the front and make sure that you're not rotated. So one hip isn't kind of forward of the other. The weight should feel equal on both feet and equal weight between the big toe, the little toe and the heel. The ribs are set, so not sticking out, drawn back. The shoulders are open, the breastbone is lifted, the arms are back and the chin is in. So let's just start in that position, just taking a nice big breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. So in through the nose. So think about taking that breath down and out to the ribs or down and into the stomach. So in through the nose and out through the mouth. So let's start by just lifting up the right heel. So make sure as we do this and then the left that the pelvis isn't doing side to side. So we're keeping the pelvis nice and level. So alternate heel lifts, just taking time. So just try not to let your hips drop out side to side as you do in this movement. So let's see if we can make that a little bit more complicated and just picking up one leg now and again. Just try not to let the hips move. So imagine you have your little level on your hips and you're trying to keep them nice and still. If it's too difficult to lift the whole foot up, then just continue just lifting up the heel. And again, just keeping the pelvis forward. Now just slide the right leg forward and just allowing the left knee to bend and bring it back. And let's repeat that again. So just allow that left knee to bend as you slide the right leg forward and back. I'm just going to come back a little bit so you see everything. Good. So forwards and back. So make sure as I'm doing this movement, I'm not allowing that knee to cave inwards. And now I'm going to take the leg out to the side. So same leg. And again, don't let that other knee fall inwards. So we're using some of the muscles around the hips just to stabilize that leg. And now we're going to take that leg back. And again, I'm going to come forward, just making sure again we're not letting that knee cave inwards. Okay, let's repeat on the other side. So small knee bend as you reach forward, keeping the body nice and still, not letting the knee cave in. And sideways. So making you just a little bit more aware of your body and your alignment. And backwards. And coming back into the center. Let's reach our arms up overhead and bring them back down. And reach them up and bring them back down. And up and down. Up and bring them into that W position or goalpost position. So imagine you're sliding your hands up and down the wall behind you, keeping those shoulders nice and open. Obviously, if there's a pain in the shoulder, bring the arms forward a bit, so you'll be doing it in this position. But ideally, we want to be back here. So maintain that position, and we're just going to move slightly over to one side and the other. So just getting a little stretch through the upper back. And then rotating, so let's soften the knees and rotate from the waist. And breathing nice and relaxed throughout. Just warming up the spine. And reach the arms up and bring the arms all the way down. Great. Okay, so let's go down onto hands and knees. So onto the hands and knees. Again, we're trying to find that position, that neutral position. So let's tuck the tail under, stick the bottom out, and find that middle position. So we're neither tucked under or rounded. And then through the shoulders, press the shoulder blades apart and then draw the breastbone down. So find the difference, so that middle position between the two. And then think about the neck. So just imagine you have your tennis ball just sitting underneath your chin, holding that position. So maintaining everything in alignment, just slide out the right leg, keeping everything nice and still, and back. And the left leg. Okay, so hips don't push over to the side, so you keep your hip over your knee. Good. So small movements. Okay, let's progress that then if we can to lifting that leg all the way up and bringing it back down. If it's too difficult, stay down on the floor. I'm looking forward at the camera there, but your head, eyes should be just looking straight down. Just keep going. Make sure we're going all the way up, getting that leg nice and high. Now, if you can, then the next level is to add in the arms. So opposite arm and leg, and switch. Keeping that back nice and flat. Try and bring the arm right up to the level of the ear. And then take a stretch back and just breathe. Coming back onto hands and knees, we're going to just go into a little box plank position. So curl your toes underneath you and just lift the knees and just hover just about an inch. And then lower. And again, just lift and lower. And lift and lower. If this finds really hard on your wrist, you can go onto your fists and come up that way. The alternative is to come down onto the forearms and just hold that, but it's probably not as easy to do in that position. And lower, and one more, and lower. Okay, bring the hands forward again and just go into a nice just stretch and just open things up. We're going to keep the hands forward now. We're going to go back into our little box position, so we're going to lift the knees up, and this time we're just going to let the hips come forward into a plank and back. So you need to bring your arms just forward a little bit more so they're not directly underneath the shoulders. So lift the knees up, and then if you can, into your plank, back to the knees, and then down. So lifting up, forward, back, and down. And again, up, forward, back, and down. And if it's too challenging, then just stay with the box plank. And one more time. And down. Okay, so let's go over onto our backs. So remember, if you want, you can have your cushion underneath your head. So let's think about our alignment again. So think about that neutral position in the pelvis. So we're not flat, we're not arched. So just somewhere in between those two. Think about the rib cage, so the ribs aren't flared up and we're pressing the ribs down. The neck is aligned and the shoulders are nice and open. So let's just start nice and gently just by moving the legs. So bring the right leg up, extend it out. Try not to let the back arch. So don't go too low if you feel like your back is arching. Bring it back, place it down. The other leg up, so into that tabletop, extend it out, lower down. Come back and place it down. So just keep going, right leg up, extending out. So watching that we're controlling this position here in the pelvis. And left, lower, back and down. So we're not just going straight out, we're going up, we're going out, we're going down, and then we come back. So up, we go out, we go down, come back. So we're going to make this a little bit more challenging by adding in the arms. So let's just do the arms first. So just take the arms overhead. So we don't want the ribs to flare here, so keep those ribs down. So you might not be able to get all the way down to the floor, and come back. So again, overhead and back. So let's bring the legs back in. So as the leg goes out, we move the arms too. So we're going to stay on the right leg. Keep going. Controlling that pelvis. Controlling the ribs. And place that foot down. Let's switch to the other side. So stretching out. So again, you choose how low you go with the arms and the legs, depending on your control around that pelvis. And one more. And coming back. Okay, so let's go on to our toes now. So lift your heels up, and we're going to do our hip openers in this position. Now, some of you might find this quite tough on the calves, so if you do, feel free to put the heels down. So let's just take that right knee out to the side and back. Okay, so the left knee stays perfectly still. Imagine that you've got something just resting on top of that knee and you're not allowing it to move. So just taking that knee out to the side and back. So we're working our calf muscles a little bit as we do this exercise. So the left bottom is staying still. Okay, so let me add a challenge to that. So let's bring the left arm up. As that right leg goes out, I'm bringing my left arm out to the side and bringing everything back in. And just keep going with that movement. Keep that left leg nice and still. Okay, so we're going to switch to the other side. Let those heels come down for a moment. Okay, keep the arm down for the first part. So just the left, both heels are up, right leg staying still. Just let that left knee move out to the side, so all the clumps and the clicks might be popping there here and there. So just let that left knee drop out to the side. Keep that right bottom down. Okay, ready to add in that right arm now. So as that leg goes out, so we're helping control our rotation here by keeping everything nice and controlled around our middle. And also, as you're probably feeling, we're working our calf muscles at the same time. So take your time, just get this basic control to start with. And come back up. So let's pick that right leg up now. And we're going to take that right knee out to the side again. So this time we obviously don't have the foot attached onto the floor. So I could make this more challenging by being on the toes on the other foot. Or keep that heel down if the calf is getting tight. So let's add in the arm again here. So taking the arm out and come back in. So you're consciously keeping that left knee as still as you can. Not a difficult exercise, but the more you do, then you start to feel the tummy muscles working a little bit more. Okay, let's switch. So bringing up the other leg. So keep the arm down first. Just get a sense of moving the leg. So keeping that right knee nice and still. Adding in the arm now. So as the leg goes out, so does the arm. So we're taking the knee and the foot. So we're not kind of going into this position. So making sure I'm keeping the weight on that right bottom, keeping that right knee nice and still. And coming back. Okay, walking those heels a little closer towards your bottom now. And we're going to go up into our bridge. So roll up into your bridge, so pelvic tilt, peel up into your bridge, sending those hips up nice and high. So keep the hips nice and level, and then slowly peel down from that upper back all the way down and release. So again, rolling up, hips up nice and high, send those knees forward, keep the hips nice and level, and then slowly make your way down and release at the bottom. And rolling up again. Hold it there. Okay, shoulders are nice and open, hips nice and high, and then slowly peeling back down. And rolling back up. So let's make this a little bit more interesting. So staying up at the top there, let's just rotate the hips. So imagine you have a bowl of water here on the pelvis. Just drop the left side down and then come back to the middle. Now the right side. We don't move the knees. We're keeping the knees still. We're not trying to get to the floor with that hip. So you might find that you can rotate one side more than the other. Let's stay up in that bridge. Again, just walk those heels back a little bit. And we're going to just try a little bit of marching now. So the key thing that we want to make sure is that we're not letting that pelvis drop. So let's just start by just doing the heel lifts first, making sure that we can keep that pelvis nice and level. Okay, so if that's challenging enough, you stay at that level. If you feel you can progress, we take one foot off. So we're not lifting very high. We're making sure that our pelvis doesn't move side to side. Just controlling the pelvis the whole time as you march. So you should be starting to feel your bottom muscles working. And then slowly make your way all the way down. And just bring the knees up to the chest just to take a stretch and give the back a break. I'm going to extend that left leg down onto the mat. Let's pull the toes up so as if we're standing on that leg. And we're going to bring our right leg into tabletop. I want you to imagine you have a pencil pointing up from your knee up to the top of the ceiling. We're going to make a circle on the ceiling. So we're going to keep that other side nice and still as we feel more comfortable with it, and we're not letting ourselves roll off that left hip. Just let that circle become maybe a little bit bigger. And change direction. And place that foot down. Let's switch to the opposite side, bring the other leg up. So tabletop position, we're making sure our tailbone is down on the mat, so we don't want to have the knee up to the chest. Pull the toes up on the leg that's still, and we're making our circle. And circle the other way. And place that foot down, bringing both feet back. So let's start to try and work up into getting into our tabletop position. So we're going to bring the right leg up into tabletop. So without allowing the back to either flatten or arch, I want you to feel like you're connecting through your pelvis, and you're going to pick up the left leg. Now we're going to lower the right foot down and then lower the left foot down. So just barely, so we're not putting the whole foot down, we're going to go just to the toes. So left leg up, so connecting through the center, keeping the pelvis nice and still, bring the right leg up, right leg down, left leg. Okay, right leg up and left leg. Good. Right leg down, left leg down. Good. So if it's too challenging, just want you just to march. Okay, so just march. Okay, if you're feeling comfortable with the movement, let's progress this to a toe tap. So those of you who don't feel comfortable, make sure you stay on your march. So we should be feeling those lower tummy muscles working as we progress on with this exercise. Keeping that pelvis in neutral, barely tapping with the toes. So think about the thighs going away rather than bending at the knees. Okay, and then everybody pulling the knees to the chest. Let's hold on to that left leg. I'm going to extend that right leg out nice and long now. So again, feel where the pelvis is. Make sure you're not letting yourself arch. If you feel comfortable with it, bring that leg a little bit lower. Holding on to this knee is going to help take some pressure off the back. And we're going to switch. So pull the knee to the chest, extend out the other leg. Feel where you can go. And switch. 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 So the lower we send the leg, the more the back has to work, but also the more the tummy has to work. So you have to find the place where you can manage. And back. Okay, pull the knees up and just have a stretch. And then let's take the knees out to the sides a bit. So we're getting a little bit of a different stretch. So almost bringing the knees to the shoulders and opening up the hips. And then let's just make some small circles with our knees. Really stretching out the back. And then circle the other way. So onto our side now, lying on our right side, resting up on our shoulder if you're comfortable with that. If you're not comfortable, support your head in your hand, or alternatively you can go all the way down. So this is if you have your little cushion, you can put it in here if you like. Okay, so bottom leg is going to bend. Bring the elbow underneath the shoulder, bring the top leg up. Try not to sink here in the shoulder, so lift those ribs up. Okay, hold the leg up nice and high. The top hand then can rest in the front and the neck is support. The neck is relaxed, so we're not chin out, so just nice and relaxed. So holding the leg there, we're going to just do some little lifts up to the ceiling. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now we're going to do a kind of almost like a bicycle type movement. So we're going to bring the knee towards the chest and then extend the leg out. So at that point you should feel quite a hamstring stretch. Bring the leg all the way back, bring the heel towards the bottom and bring the hip forward. So we go out, stretch back with the leg, bring the heel towards the bottom, bring the knee up and stretch out, go long, good, pull back up, press up and again, reaching back, heel towards the bottom, bring the knee up, extend the leg long and back, good, and again, heel towards the bottom, bring the knee up, stretch the leg out and bring back. Hold it there. Make sure you're lifting nice and strong through that arm. Little circles. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Circle the other way. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Let's switch to the opposite side now. So over to the other side. Find that position, extend that leg out, up here on the shoulder or down all the way as we discussed before. So holding that position, leg nice and long, little lifts up to the ceiling. 2, watch that we're not sinking through the shoulders. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Our bicycle movement, so bring the knee up towards the chest, extend the leg out, press back, come back up and stretch and back. 2, and 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good, hold it there, keep those ribs up, press through the shoulder and little circles. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Circling the other way, don't lose the height of the leg, keep control through the ribs. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, let's go over onto our stomachs now. So lying down onto your tummy. Again, you could have your mat or your little cushion underneath your head here or your towel. So arms down by your side. So nose just hovering over the mat, legs just slightly apart. We're going to open up the shoulders, so squeeze those shoulder blades together. Lift the hands just about an inch up off the mat and hold it there. So just in line with the hips and then lower. So draw those shoulders back, hands pressing up to, so the palm of the hands pressing up towards the ceiling, and just lift and lower. And again, lift and lower and lift and lower. And one more, lift and lower. Coming up onto your forearms now. So elbows just directly under the shoulders. Just let the chest just drop down towards the mat and then just lifting back up. So chin in and down and up. Down and up. And holding that. So we're going into our single leg beat. So remember, nice, don't over flex at the knees. Imagine that you're having to almost reach over something at the back of the knees. So you're trying not to, if you've got two eggs sitting in the back of your knees, you're trying not to crack them. Keep the shoulders up. So 1, 2, and lower. Let's flex the ankles as we bend. And 2. And 3. So keep those shoulders nice and strong. Try not to drop down. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 10. Let's lower all the way down, arms out in front. If you've got sore shoulders, bend the elbows a little. So let's start by just lifting the right leg just a little bit off the mat and lowering it. So keep the pelvis nice and still. Try not to create an arch in the back, so make sure your pelvis is still staying in neutral. So nice long. So not lifting that leg very high at all. So we're going to add in the arm now if possible. So it's going to be the opposite arm and leg lift and lower. And switch. And switch. And last one. Okay, hands underneath the shoulders. Let's stretch back again, just stretch out the back. And breathe. Come back onto hands and knees and let's just do some pelvic tilts and just loosen out that spine. So tucking under, sticking your bottom out. Let's work on our rotation of our thoracic spine a little bit now. So let's bring the left hand behind the head. We're going to bring the left elbow to touch the right elbow, and then we're going to press up with, nice and strong with that right arm, and then come back down. And rotate and get that movement coming right from these ribs, so we're pulling around through here and back. And then over to the other side. Pressing up. And again, you'll probably find that you have more movement one side than the other. And coming back. Let's go into some little hip circles there. So just small little circles. Okay, getting a little bigger, coming out to the side a bit but keeping the back nice and flat. So imagine you've got your tray of drinks sitting on top of your back, so just try not to let them spill. Change direction. And place it down. Other side now, so start small, get your control. See if you can make it bigger, keeping that pelvis nice and flat. Change direction. And bring it down. And just take a stretch out again. Coming up onto kneeling, and just press the hip forward and just stretch through the front of the hip. And switch sides. And coming all the way up into standing. Place your hands behind your head and just nice side movements, kind of pointing the elbow up towards the ceiling. So not going to end range, just taking a stretch out. Bringing the arms back, opening up the chest and bringing them forward as if you're almost going to take a clap. And forward. And back. And let's bring this into full arm circle. So reach the arms up nice and tall, bring them out to the side, stretching wide, bring the arms down and up and wide, lifting that chest and forwards and side and back, and last one, forwards and side and back, and we're all done.